A hefty grant will now help reduce domestic violence in Pima County and get the bigger picture of the issue when law enforcement responds. Emerge and several agencies were awarded the grant for the innovative program RAMP, Risk Assessment, Management, and Prevention. 9 on Your Side's Jenny Martinez spoke with Emerge and has more on how this money will help.
Well, Guy, with this new tool, it will allow the victim and law enforcement to know the level of risk when officers and deputies respond to domestic violence issues.
And sometimes just understanding just how deadly the situation can be can shift the victim's perspective.
In Pima County alone, there are more than 13,000 domestic violence 911 calls a year. With the Risk Assessment, Management, and Prevention RAMP program, officers will be trained to ask the proper questions to assess the risk of each case.
So what this training is going to do is allow that officer or deputy, when they show up, to not only handle what's happening at the scene at that moment, but to help understand what's the bigger picture here. What is the longer term history of abuse, but also then the future risk of additional abuse.
The money will also help get victims what they need on the scene through the court system and help them get out of the abusive situation. According to Emerge, the Center Against Domestic Abuse, there has been a shift.
It used to be only those who had a felony case involved, and will now be misdemeanors as well, which is 90+% of all domestic violence calls. So we're talking about thousands and thousands of additional victims that will now get a risk assessment so that they can understand whether they are at risk to be killed or hurt.
Calls are expected to increase. That's when the $250,000 grant awarded by the Tucson Foundations will come in.
The big change is that as this new process rolls out to include misdemeanors, there will be lots and lots of additional victims reaching out for help, which is important. But we've got to have the services available once they actually pick up that phone and call.
And the grant money will allow officers and deputies to be fully trained. This includes the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the Tucson Police Department, as well as provide more advocates on the scene. Guy.